Muy buenas, friqueros y friqueras, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis? Y bienvenidos a un nuevo vídeo en el que vamos a reaccionar al vídeo de Watch Mojo de su top 10 series más esperadas de este año 2024. Vamos a ver qué series aparecen en esta lista. Ya sabéis que en este caso estamos ya con reaccionando, ¿no?, a los tops de Watch Mojo de los productos más esperados de este año. Y bueno, pues al final hay o habrá seguramente algunos o bastantes que conozcamos, pero que a lo mejor hay en esas listas pues también aparecen pues nuevos proyectos, ¿no? O nuevos productos que a lo mejor no conocíamos y que pues que a lo mejor sí que pueden sorprender, ¿no? Pero bueno, no me enrollo más, así que vamos a darle caña a esta reacción, pero antes, como siempre, dejad vuestro like si os gusta el contenido que subo en este canal, suscribiros al canal en sí si no lo habéis hecho ya, activad la campanita de notificaciones para no perderos ningún vídeo, y en la descripción, como siempre, os dejaré mis redes sociales y los enlaces de los últimos vídeos que tengo subidos en el canal para que deis un vistacillo a lo último que he estado subiendo. Muchas gracias por vuestro apoyo, como siempre, así que sin más dilación le damos en 3, 2, 1, play. Ojo, el pingüino.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And
Bueno.
today we're looking at the shows we're looking forward to most.
Claro, como este vídeo se publicó antes de que empezase el año,
New shows and returning
pues
ones, but we're leaving off animated programs like X-Men
se ha parecido Echo ahí.
I love you.
Number 10.
Hombre,
House of
top
the Dragon,
10.
Season
Top
2.
10.
The war before.
Tan bajo. Segunda temporada de La Casa del Dragón. Ni de coña top 10.
The
Ni
Game
de
of
coña.
Thrones finale made fans rage quit. But this
Ni de
prequel
coña.
series
Top
pulled
3.
audiences back into Westeros.
Mínimo top 3.
House of the Dragon
Sin
engrossed
duda,
us with all
Sin
of
duda.
the hallmarks we associated with its predecessor. Epic battles, Shakespearean drama,
Madre mía.
and central characters who are hard to pin down.
Your father's realm was one of justice and honor. Our houses are bound by common
Empezamos
blood
bien, Watch Mojo, empezamos
common
bien.
cause.
What separates this show from Game of Thrones is that we know it's not going to end well for House Targaryen. As such, it's less about who takes the Iron Throne and more about who comes out of this with the most body parts intact. With the Dance of the Dragons underway, George R.R. Martin promises an emotional and gut-wrenching second season. We expect nothing less, but that still doesn't prepare us for what's coming.
There is no war so hateful to the gods. It's a war between kin.
Number 9. The Sympathizer.
The Sympathizer.
I mean, I could be the echo.
Mira, por ejemplo, esta no la conocía. Ahora HBO.
How would you know?
What's the only thing more exciting than a new HBO miniseries? One that was co-produced by A24. The Sympathizer is based on
Coproducida
a Pulitzer
por
Prize-winning
HBO y
novel about a North
A24.
Vietnamese captain who infiltrates the South Vietnamese military. While seeking refuge in the U.S., the captain finds himself torn as the Vietnam War winds down.
What if I told you that I was a communist? Undercover.
Welcome to the world of spycraft.
The series is being
Robert
developed
Downey
by
Jr.
Park Chan-wook, who directed Oldboy, and Don McKellar, who brought us the Y2K black comedy Last Night. The cast offers a mix of fresh faces like Hua Shande as the captain, as well as household names like Sandra Oh and Robert Downey Jr., the latter of whom adopts multiple roles. It might be about
Bueno,
picking
joder.
sides, but we expect The Sympathizer to unite critics.
We sent you to America so you could be our mold. But what happens to a mold when it is suddenly thrust into the sun?
Number 8. The Acolyte.
De Star
It
Wars.
happened a long time ago in a galaxy
Mucha
far, far
curiosidad,
away.
aunque no sepamos
Story the Jedi would
nada,
tell you.
casi nada, realmente.
It's a Sith legend.
Pero
The Acolyte takes place in a
la
especially
concepción,
long
¿no?
time
O el
ago,
concepto
set nearly a
que
century
vamos a ver en
before
esa
the
serie.
Skywalker saga. Since joining the Disney family, Star Wars stories have been primarily restricted to
como va a ser algo que no hemos visto o lo que no se han centrado del todo en el apartado audiovisual, pues por eso interesa mucho.
Why didn't the council give me this assignment when we were in session? This assignment is not to be on record.
The crime drama approach feels well tailored for the Star Wars mythos, and showrunner Leslie Headland of Russian Doll is sure to leave a distinct stamp. For those who think recent Star Wars shows have been delivering more of the same, The Acolyte promises uncharted territory.
The dark side of the Force is a
Territorio inexplorado, ¿no?
pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Number 7. Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
What do you think happens if we fail?
Our marriage?
Our mission.
The year was 2005. Brangelina was the celebrity couple with Mr. and Mrs. Smith making a killing
Hostia,
at
pero
the
yo
box
espero,
office.
bueno.
Meanwhile, Donald Glover
A ver qué tal
had a
está
few bit
esta, ¿no?
roles on
Pero,
Late Night with Conan
pero la Casa del
O'Brien,
Dragón
while
temporada
Maya
2 tiene que
Erskine won an
ser
emerging
mínimo
young
top.
artist award
Mínimo,
from the Los
top
Angeles
5.
County High School
Mínimo.
for the arts. Needless to say, Glover
En mi
and
caso top
Erskine
3
have
está,
come a
pero
long
bueno.
way since then.
This your first time in New York?
Should we be asking each other that? Have you ever killed anyone?
No. Not really.
The Community and Pen 15 stars are taking on the roles of John and Jane Smith, respectively, in this modern adaptation of the spy comedy. Glover is also co-developing the series with Francesca Sloan, having previously worked together on Atlanta. They aren't the only Atlanta alumni, with Hiro Murai directing 2 episodes and Stephen Glover among the executive producers.
What is it that you two do?
We're computer software engineer.
The series is the brainchild of Will Tracy, who scribed multiple Succession episodes and co-wrote The Menu. So, number 5, The Boys, Season 4.
Temporada 4 de The Boys.
Crush the masses.
Top 5 mínimo también.
Who builds your monuments?
Speaking of politics, Season 3 of The Boys ended with Homelander showing his true colors to the world. But his supporters don't seem to mind. If anything, they adore him even more.
Then you get to swoop in. Be the one saving it.
Like Caesar.
Like Caesar.
In any case, we're just excited that the boys are back in town after a 2-year hiatus. Don't get us wrong, Gen V more than held us over, but we've been eager to catch up with Butcher, Huey, Annie, and the rest. Season 4 will also bring some new players into the mix, including Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Because if there's one thing The Boys has been missing up until this point, it's a comedian.
Your team. What's your code name again?
The Boys.
Oof.
Number 4, Fallout.
I know
Adaptación de Fallout.
comfortable life.
As Hollywood finally figured
También
out how
puede
to
meterse ahí,
adapt
la
video
verdad, en el top
games
10.
into TV shows, The Last of Us bodes well, but Fallout will be another crucial test.
You need to go home. Vault dwellers are an endangered species.
Based on Bethesda's hit post-apocalyptic game series, Fallout unleashes a mushroom cloud of talent. It's being developed by Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan, who previously brought us Westworld. The showrunners are Graham Wagner, who has written for comedies like Portlandia, and Geneva Robertson-Dworet, who co-wrote the 2018 adaptation of Tomb Raider. Ella Purnell takes center stage as a vault dweller, while Walton Goggins is sure to have a ball playing a gunslinging ghoul. With the franchise's signature grim humor on display, Fallout should be full of references for longtime fans while bringing in a new audience as well.
If you insist on staying, then you will have to adapt.
Number 3, The Penguin.
Número 3, ¿eh?
This is one of those moments.
Despite not having the most screen time in The Batman, Colin Farrell managed to steal every scene he was in as the Penguin. For those who felt the film could have used a little more Oswald Cobblepot, this Max series has you covered. Farrell is again unrecognizable as the Gotham gangster in a story that'll explore his rise to prominence.
The world ain't built for guys like us. That's why we gotta take
Vaya maquillaje, tío. Que brutal,
The
¿eh?
Batman ended with much of Gotham underwater. Taking place a week later, this 8-episode limited series pits Penguin against Sophia Falcone, played by Kristen Milioti. Out for blood following the death of her father, Sophia challenges Penguin in a war that will determine the next kingpin of Gotham's criminal underworld. Whether or not Batman appears, this show is all about letting Penguin spread his wings.
Step out of line, even once. I'll gut you like a goddamn fish.
Number 2, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Es que está siendo muy esperada, la verdad. Esta Avatar, la leyenda de Aang.
Netflix is a hit and miss when it comes to their live-action adaptations of animated classics. Cowboy Bebop was so bad that it didn't even get a second season, but One Piece was a pleasant surprise. Here's hoping that Avatar: The Last Airbender continues this trend. Although creators Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko were initially set to return as showrunners, they exited over creative differences. While that might be a red flag, we'd be lying if we said that the trailer didn't get us pumped with its colorful visuals, promising casting choices, and rousing music.
The past. The future.
Whether or not this reimagining can capture the brilliance of the animated series, we can take solace in one thing. It's gotta be better than the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
It wasn't very smart.
No va a ser complicado.
Thanks for saving me.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Masters of the Air. Austin Butler
Tengo
takes to
ganas
the
de ver eso
skies
también,
in a spiritual
la verdad.
successor to Band of Brothers and the Pacific.
The 8th will be sending up the largest air armada ever assembled in the history of mankind.
Straight into Hitler's territory.
The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live.
También.
Rick lives to fight another day with Michonne by his side.
Rick y Michonne.
Please know I tried.
Echo. Maya Lopez gears up for another round with Wilson Fisk.
So much rage.
Justo ya se ha estrenado y esa es mi opinión. Y si no, pues tenéis ahí en el canal mi
Cobra Kai
crítica.
Season 6. Kreese is on the loose, but can Daniel and Johnny
También
put him out
esperada.
of commission?
We've been fighting so long. Against each other. With each other. It's hard to keep track.
Agatha, Darkhold Diaries. Who's been overdue for a spin-off? It was Agatha all along. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Three Body Problem.
La más esperada de este año. Bueno, para ellos, claro. Lo que digo, para Watch Mojo.
With House of the Dragon, it seems only appropriate that we end with the new show from David Benioff and
No he
Weiss.
visto el tráiler.
Say what you will about where D&D took Game of Thrones, but we believe they
Sé
can
cuál
find
es,
redemption
pero
through this
quería ver el
adaptation
tráiler,
of Liu
pero
Cixing's best-selling
ya lo
novel.
veré,
With
ya
Alexander
lo voy a
Wu of
reaccionar
True Blood
ya
serving as
entero, ¿no?
co-showrunner, Three Body Problem revolves around an astrophysicist's actions in the 1960s that go on to shape the future of humanity.
Anything might be out there. The unknown troubles us.
With an aesthetic that blends elements of fantasy, sci-fi, and ancient history, this series looks utterly unique. But it's the themes beneath that surface that have us hooked. It has the potential to be entirely different from anything we've seen before.
But we continue to search.
De los creadores de y showrunners, sobre todo, no creadores, pero showrunners, ¿no? De Juego de Tronos. Para Netflix.
Which show has you the most excited for 2024?
Bueno, claro, no había visto el tráiler de... Era el problema de los tres cuerpos, ¿no? En castellano. De esta última que hemos visto. Claro, no he visto el tráiler, obviamente no tenía expectativa porque no he visto nada de eso, del tráiler ni nada de esta serie. Tenía pensado reaccionar, ¿no? O sea, bueno, antes de decir que tengo pensado reaccionar al tráiler entero, o sea, hemos visto ahí pues imágenes, pero bueno, vamos a ver lo que es quiero ver el tráiler completo, pero de las series que de este año, hombre, es que la Casa del Dragón sí que la espero muchísimo, o sea que seguramente esté top 1, top 2 junto a The Voice, temporada 4, y luego tengo que ponerme al día con Invencible porque vi la primera temporada, pero tengo que ver todavía la primera temporada, o sea, la primera mitad de la segunda temporada, pero quiero esperar a que se estrene la temporada entera. Y obviamente no sé cómo ha sido la primera mitad, ¿no? No sé si en este caso ha funcionado, si ha gustado esa primera mitad, no lo sé. Pero bueno, yo diría que La Casa del Dragón y The Voice son las más esperadas para mí. Luego, verdad es que tengo curiosidad por las de Agatha también, de Marvel, Masters of the Air también, serie limitada. Y bueno, hay alguna más también ahí que cada vez que puede estar interesante. Pero bueno, también he visto series que no conocía, o sea que también eso es también bueno, ¿no? También es algo positivo porque así también digamos que me puede causar algo de interés, ¿no? Al verlo aquí. Pero bueno, ahora como siempre os pido, dejad en los comentarios, en este caso, vuestras series más esperadas de este año 2024 y pues decir también si, bueno, ya lo veréis, ya lo veremos también, ¿no? Si coincidís con este caso Watch Mojo y en parte conmigo. Y si os ha gustado el vídeo, dejad un buen like, suscribiros al canal en sí si no lo habéis hecho ya, activad la campanita de notificaciones y en la descripción os dejaré como siempre mis redes sociales y los enlaces de los últimos vídeos que tengo subidos en el canal. Muchas gracias por vuestro apoyo. Hasta la próxima.